Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I've got a post here by Banana Crystal which has been reposted by Hedera, and I think you're going to want to see this. So, strange now, I know you might be thinking, but let's get into what they say. Exciting update, Banana Crystal is now live on the Hedera network, unlocking faster access to global currency markets. What's live? Currency liquidity pool, currency prediction market. And then we've got a little image here and it says the future of money. Banana Crystal digitizes your local currency into stable digital currencies, making it convenient to swap between different currencies instantly using blockchain technology. Okay, so I did actually have the Medium article up, but as you can see, if you can see my screen, for some reason, at first I was reading through it like I read it, and then when I've come to record, for some reason, it's just gone down. So I'm not exactly sure what's happened there. So some of this I will be pulling off of memory, but the general gist of this from what I've seen is obviously when they're talking about digitizing stable coins, you know, like digitizing currencies, they're talking about making stable coins, and then that's what they're using for cross-border payments. We know this already, you know, it seems like when it comes to cross-border payments, they're going to be looking to use stable coins, so that completely makes sense. That seems the way it's going, and that's why I said when it comes to this in that regard, I do think Hedera could definitely have an edge to gain some good partnerships when it comes to, you know, cross-border payments. I think that's possible, and the reason being is because Shinhan Bank, that's a bank that was testing doing cross-border payment settlements with stablecoins on Hedera. This was about 2 years ago, I'd say, roughly, something like that. So it's been a while, definitely, because I covered them a good while back. So I already know that this is something that was being trialed on Hedera from a long time ago. So I've got the website here for Banana Crystal. I'm just going to show you a few things about them so you can get an idea of what you can do here. So peer-to-peer. So I'm assuming that's like peer-to-peer payments and that kind of thing. Apply for your crypto debit card, the offshore USD debit card that lets you spend your crypto directly with complete privacy in 200 plus countries. So obviously that's a very big deal there. That's really good. Peer-to-peer trading of USDT with any currency. Discover the best P2P rates available. There you go. So best P2P rates available. You can see here the different currencies that you can trade. You can trade in if you want to do cross-border payments. And you know, like, this is definitely going to be the kind of thing where over time it's going to take over the banks, unless the banks obviously look to compete, because who's going to want to pay, you know, a really high price and for a payment that could take up to 5 working days, when you could just use these types of alternatives and get it done literally within seconds and for a dirt cheap price. Like, it's just a no-brainer, isn't it? So we got here their website, and it says global payments, instant secure P2P global payments, send and receive secure peer-to-peer in brackets P2P payments to anyone instantly at no cost to you, through P2P secure escrow and support for 300 plus payment methods from almost all countries. You are now able to exchange your currency to/from USD at a better than bank/government/market rate. Fast, secure, low-cost, borderless, local and international payments in USD, powered by blockchain/crypto payment rails. Yeah, of course. So you can see exactly where they're going with this, and it makes complete sense. Like, we can see that cross-border payments is one of the huge benefits in regards to having crypto technology. So I'm not surprised to see a company jumping on the back of this. Perform secure P2P transactions as a Banana Crystal broker. To safeguard funds, we've implemented an escrow system that holds funds securely until orders are completed on both ends. Being a broker entitles you to make a profit for each completed transaction. So there you go. For someone who wants to maybe earn a bit of money, they could actually become a broker, and that's a way that they could, you know, aim to make a bit of, you know, side money, that kind of thing. Secure low-cost payments for stores and businesses. Accept payments for your store or business almost free. Payments settle instantly for your store or business with no risk of chargebacks, saving you over 20% in fraud and chargeback fees, which you can then pass as savings onto your customers. Send payments to your local and international vendors almost free. This will enable you to access new markets and industry segments at a reduced cost and payment settlement times. Get better currency exchange rates than government/bank rates. Yeah, that's a big one there, as I was saying before. Like, in regards to, like, you know, if shops want to have, for example, like a card terminal, but it's running on, crypto rails, like on Hedera, for example, when you use that card, typically it would be a thing where, basically the card gets earmarked. So you have like an available balance, you have an account balance and an available balance. So your account balance could be, for example, $10, right? But your available balance could be $8. And you might be thinking, well, what's the deal with that? Well, if you've gone into a shop and just bought something for $2, what they do is they earmark the payment to go out of your account. So your account balance will still be shown as $10 at the time because the money hasn't gone out. But because it's earmarked, you'll only have $8 available because they've still got to take that $2 out to pay for whatever it was you brought in the shop. But if you're talking about now with crypto technology, they're going to be able to do that, literally instantly. So it won't be a thing where there's any earmarking. It will just take out of the account straight away. So for the shops as well, that's a huge benefit because, as I just said about chargebacks, so what some people will do is they'll buy something and then they'll just go and call the bank and say, hey, I didn't make this transaction, or, there was some kind of issue with the transaction, like a dispute or something like that. And that's not to say that they'll always get away with it, because they try not to just, willy-nilly grant the money back. But there are times when they do, right? And as it said here, 20% fraud, like, that's still not ideal, right? You want it to be as low as possible. You want it to be zero if possible. So that's a huge thing. One of the other things I did notice they said about the service they provide is that, it's got a lot of AML and KYC processes in place. As I said to you guys before, whenever it comes to like institutions and stuff like that, like KYC is essential. Well, no, let me change that. It's mandatory, right? It's mandatory. It's not essential. It's mandatory. By law, they have to follow KYC and AML procedures because they can't be letting people use this service for nefarious reasons. They can't be using it for terrorist reasons, or, people to use it for illegal money, to be trying to clean illegal money and that kind of thing. There has to be something in place. There has to be procedures in place that they're doing as much as they can to deter that kind of activity. It's not up for debate at all. So whenever I see that, I always say that's great. That's huge because, that's something that for institutions, governments, banks, etc., it's a requirement. It's not something that's like, oh, that's great. No, it's a requirement. They need it. So that's huge. So yeah, as you can see, you've got a good idea just looking at the website here. Very nice site, I have to say. Like, very professional. It's not lagging or anything like that. It looks really good to me personally. I think it looks very promising. So yeah, this is one to just look at in terms of just keeping an eye on. I don't know for sure how big this could get, but we already know in terms of like stable coins, like lowering fees for cross-border transfers, it's something that everybody's going to want to do. Why are you going to want to go to a bank and be paying more and taking more time to go over the point of going for faster and cheaper? Now, I think at the original point, it was a thing of obviously crypto was there was an uncertainty about its future. So a lot of people probably just didn't want to take the risk because they didn't know how comfortable they were with using crypto, when they were thinking it could just, go to zero or whatever, that kind of thing. It's not going to last. But I think at this stage now, we're starting to see that it's quite clear and evident that it's going to stick around and going to be here for the long haul. And if they're not completely sure of that yet, just give it a bit more time. Like, as we've seen over the years, crypto has just got more mainstream, it's got more adopted, it's got more recognized. So it's only going to take that a little bit longer, if that's the case, for it to get to that position where, people are more comfortable with it. And eventually that will just be the norm. That will be the norm where people will be using crypto, and it'll even be to a degree where people are using it but don't realize, right? Like, for example, when we're talking about the card terminal in the shop, the person who's the shop owner will probably know, like, okay, it's on crypto now. But the main thing that guy knows is that, okay, so when it goes through now, it's going to go through instantly, and it's a dirt cheap price for me to use this card terminal. So now it's not a thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to put a minimum spend on this card terminal, because if they only spend, less than $1, it's not even worth me doing it on the card terminal, because the charge for it is going to be way more than what I'd earn in profit from the sale. But now that's not the case. It's going to be dirt cheap. So it's like, if people just wanted to buy something for 20 cents in the shop, hey, that's fine, because I'm going to be charged like 0.001 cent anyway. So it's not really going to affect me in any meaningful way, no matter what you use. So at that point, they can take off these fees, these minimum charges, and they can use whatever they want because they're comfortable. It's not going to affect them to a way where it's going to affect their bottom line in any, negative way. So yeah, I think this is a very good positive. We'll definitely keep an eye out for them. I'm liking what I see right here. I'm liking what I see so far. And yeah, it's just definitely one to watch. But as you can see, this is more companies, building use cases, building more reasons for Hedera to be adopted. And again, they probably won't realize this. Like if you come on the website, they're not mentioning Hedera. You'll notice that. Like it's not saying, hey, this is done by Hedera, but it is. So if somebody comes here and just says, oh, I like this, it's cheap, it's a lot faster as well. Let me just use this transfer and to do this, this transfer cross border. They'll do it, but they probably won't even know that they've used Hedera. They won't even realize that, but they have. And that's, again, what we're talking about with mass adoption. They just like the sound of the service, so they're using the service. They don't have to understand everything that's going on with it. They just need to know that when they're going to do it, it's going to work, right? So, yeah, I thought this is real promises, so I thought I'd share this with you. And I'll keep an eye on this and keep you guys updated. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.